When I was really young, my mom would sing at church, and so I feel like I was constantly like immersed in music. I learned to harmonize at a very young age too, which was like super cool because I feel like I was that one kid that could like do it, and all my friends were like, whoa, how do you do that? My grandpa was also, he studied music in college for a little bit. He used to like sing on some different radio stations and like Christian, like, I don't even know what you would call it. It's not like a TV show. I guess like a network, a Christian network.
Sure. Does he have like released stuff out, or?
I wish. But he had like a little recording kind of like microphone in his office, and so when I was younger, he used to be like, what's your favorite song right now? And I would like cover it in his house, and so that was super fun.
Wow. So he was a big part of like you starting.
Definitely. And yeah, I would say he's a big part of actually why I started wanting to like record music too. In 2014, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and it was like a pretty slow decline, so like we had time to say goodbye and everything, but it was still like really hard because I feel like he was a big like spiritual figure in my family, but also like musically I feel like he was very inspiring and like encouraging to me, like just as an artist in general, to pursue something in the arts, which was like really cool. I remember writing and just being like, okay, like if he dies and like if this is the way that it's supposed to go, like one day, like I'm making a promise to myself right now that I'm gonna record an album and like record songs and like dedicate it to him, because this has like been such a big part of my young life, and like I want to be able to like continue that because he's someone that like really inspired me.
So where do you start? Do you start with piano lessons, or did you?
So I did take piano lessons. I started in 1st grade and went all the way until 4th grade. And I feel like it's drinking out of my cupkin.
We have a squirrel right now that's stealing our Dutch Bros. So take me to a creator camp. You have a friend that invites you to go, and you apply, get accepted.
Honestly, it was so crazy. So I was about to go to school, back to school in August.
Where at?
In Southern Adventist University in Tennessee. And it was August. It was like the week before I was gonna leave. I had kind of just been like just at a low in life because I just got back from working in Colorado. I was back in Texas. It was really hot, and like I'd also like before that been studying abroad in Italy, and so like going back to the mundanity of just school and like Tennessee, and just feeling like, oh, like I feel like this is going to stifle like my creativity and like put a stop. Like when I heard about Creator Camp, it was just kind of this little ray of hope, like, oh man, if I could get accepted into this, even if I was going to school and somewhere where I feel like is creatively like not inspiring to me, maybe this 1 week of getting to interact with like-minded people could like help me get through that, or like give me some sort of start where like I could keep at it after that. And so I applied on a whim, and I was like, I don't even know if this is gonna work out. A month later, after I decided not to go back to school, I was in North Carolina. I literally had just had a meltdown the night before. It was like the most crazy timing. Like I was like, oh my goodness, like what am I doing with my life? I'm probably not gonna get into this camp, and now I'm just like in the middle of some random Airbnb in North Carolina, like trying to figure out what to do next. And then I got the email the next morning, and it was like, we'd love to like have an interview to like set up like stuff with Creator Camp. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, and it just felt like the beginning of like a new chapter.
How does this whole thing lead into you having the crazy idea of let's go to Idaho, let's freaking record a whole album? How does that even come together?
So the first night, they kind of just had like a meet and greet, and like they bought dinner for everybody. And I happened to sit down next to this girl named Brinley, and we started talking about what we did and like how we got here and like why we came to camp, and I told her that I was like, I'm kind of a music artist. I was like, I haven't done anything in a while, but I really wanted to like find more people to like work with and collaborate. And she was like, oh, no way, like you write music and stuff? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, I've written some stuff before, but like, I don't know, I really wanted to like work with someone on it, and like she was like, or maybe even like have people sing some of the stuff that I've written. Literally the next day we sat in a room for like 5 hours, and she just like showed me some of her songs, and I showed her some things that I'd written, and we like edited them together, and then kind of like put a melody together without any like guitar or anything. We were just like, oh, this is how it sounds in my head. And it was really cool because I feel like it's so rare that you just find people that you work well with,
That
like
natural chemistry.
yeah. Like, oh, careful.
Oh my gosh.
I saw that like right before it happened. That's such a deep hole.
Our cameraman almost just...
So there was like a bunch of different workshops and stuff, and we just got out of one, and Brinley comes up to me and she was like, hey, I have this super crazy idea, and I don't know how spontaneous you are or like how you would feel about this, but what if we moved to Yellowstone and we like worked on an album for you?
You're at the cabin. How did these songs come about? Did you already have them written beforehand, or did all these come through like organically?
I don't even know how many songs, but we had like this whole mirror where we would just put like all of these sticky notes of like all the songs that we were considering for the album. So we worked on a ton of songs that didn't actually end up making it on the album, and some of that's like because of like time, because it was definitely stressful to have like a time limit on like...
Yeah, how do you not put pressure on yourself?
Oh, I definitely did.
That's crazy.
There was a lot of pressure, and there were certain days where that was like really hard, and I was in my head about that. I feel like there was these certain days in the very beginning when we were working on like the first couple of songs. I feel like the first song, like Zion Hotel, came really easily. But then there were other songs that were like a little bit harder to figure out, like, okay, how do we want like the music side to sound, or like how should like this verse go, or like whatever. Like it didn't all just like come naturally all the time. I think Innocence of Youth, which is the album title, which I haven't like publicly like stated yet, but like that is going to be the album title. But that song, Innocence of Youth, I think is also really special to me, just in talking about like my relationship with God and like the questioning that kind of goes along with that.
Is it like referring, and I'm assuming if that's the title track, that has to do with somewhat of the message of the album as a whole, is it about kind of returning to Innocence of Youth, or is it kind of longing for it, being nostalgic about it?
I would say it's a lot of all of the above. I feel like the concept of the whole album kind of talks about a lot of things that's very relatable to like all of young adults, like heartbreak or like change. Because I feel like in your 20s, it's like the time of your life where you're going through like the most change. Like you're trying to figure out like, who am I? What do I believe? What kind of person do I want to end up with like in the future? Like you're trying to like answer so many different questions, or like, what do I want to study in school? What kind of job do I want to have? Like, how do I live up to my parents' expectations? And I feel like so much of that is put into all the lyrics of the songs. You can be numb to like your feelings, or like you don't want people to see all sides of you, but then you meet those certain people, like how I did with like Brinley or Jacob, or like some of the other intentional conversations I had with people there, where it's like, I see you as a creator, and like or even just as like a person that is like worthy of like being valued, or just like
feeling
comfortable in like
comfortable
what
enough
you're doing
to kind of open yourself back up again.
Yeah, because that's definitely a scary thing.
Zion Hotel, is that the first single?
Yes, the first single is Zion Hotel.
Awesome.
And it is currently being mastered, and it is almost ready to like start working on release stuff. So
I was sitting here listening to it this morning. It's like ethereal. I mean, it is like so just soft and pretty, and it's so excited for the album. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for the opportunity to get to share your heart. So excited to hear these songs. I mean, there's not a lot of albums that get to be. I mean, this is like Bon Iver type stuff. Like, not a lot of albums are crafted in this way, so
Yeah.
super exciting and looking forward to it. And thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
Cool.